How's it going, Aries community? You know who it is. It's Soul Tigress with a special story for this wonderful frequency. First off, let me start everything by saying thank you for your time, your energy, and your patience as I navigate this story between the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, and everything in between. Now keep in mind that this is a safe and sacred space where we call in the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy to come on in and be the guides and protectors for all the positive messages that are going to come out. Now, I'm going to warn you, this is not love tarot. What this channel is geared around is self-empowerment, and what that means to me is building the stepping stones to getting closer to our soul being, which helps align us with a higher power. So, Aries, let's go ahead and get started with the vibe. Now, here are these music song lyrics right here, and I quote, "Don't stop believing." Now, I'm not sure if this is a part of the same song, but these are words that I directly heard, and I quote, "Hold on to the dream you have been dreaming," end quote. Prepare for a side quest. Keep away from wanting to get even through the means of revenge. You know, matching eye for eye, tooth for tooth, nail for nail, leg for leg, foot for foot kind of thing. When we act out with the intentions of being vengeful, we take a step back from the progress that we have been making. Don't let other people's, excuse my language, shitty ways affect you. Let them be, and you do you. Just know one day all the smoke will clear and all the dust will settle. Despite any setback, you are where you need to be, Aries. Trust in the divine and the divine timing of things. Now, I found it interesting, this side quest. I'm not sure what this side quest is. It could be merely that you're going to end up observing something. Maybe you're going to learn something, but you have to be open to the opportunity when it comes. Instead of shutting it down, go with the flow. Go with divine timing. If somehow your schedule clears out and it can happen, do it. That's all of it's feasible, all right? So, first up, we have the Talisman Oracle for the introduction, letting me know that there's a divinely guided eye that is in this energy, that is seeing what's happening here. So, let's go ahead and ask our ancestors, angels, and spirit guides, what is it that needs to come out for the introduction for the Aries frequency? Something we're not seeing, we're confused on. Change. Adaptability. Being flexible. These could all be things that could be a protecting kind of mechanism for you. If you think about this guy right here, the chameleon, I mean, he doesn't just change to give us a nice show. It's a lot of times it has to do with protection. Protecting what you're working on, being able to evolve it kind of energy. That's what I'm feeling. Maybe that's something that you're worried about. Maybe you're worried about the evolution of something and it not sticking to what the original plan was. I'm not sure. We're still at the start here, but I have safe travels and reverse. A lot of emotional turmoil here. Maybe a lot of overthinking, going round and round in the thoughts, not finding a solution to something. We talked about this not too long ago. Protection. there is something either you feel like you can't protect, you can't keep it the same, you can't prevent something, or there's a lot of variables in life that are happening to you, could be affecting how you go about your routine, how you go about your day, how you go about even getting from point A to point B. But it's leaving the Aries in this story feeling very vulnerable. Almost like preyed upon. That's what I get too. Now we're confused on what we know. What we know, where we've been, where we want to go, maybe. Are you doubting yourself, Aries? Could this be what it is? So then we have the elixir of life. This is nice. The elixir of life and blessed day pop out together. This also pops out under the change, and it pops out under the knowledge and safe travels. You got caught up in a bad moment. You could have gotten caught up in what I heard is a bad scheme. But this is something that's going to create a new knowledge within you, new ways of protecting yourself, new ways of, it could be even being a few steps ahead of the next one who tries to come in and mess with you kind of energy. But whatever it is, it's meant to help you see the balance between the good and the bad, how we need both. That's what I'm getting, the balance between the light and the dark kind of thing. Last card I have here is Destiny in reverse. There's something that you've been working on. It could be with family, it could be with friends, it could be with something. It could even be with yourself. But you're scared of these changes. You are at odds ends with the changes that need to happen. But the changes are aligned with what you know. I feel like if you could be open to it, searching your emotions, also going back into the different experiences that you've had, the different experiences that you made it through. What I'm hearing directly to say is you're not at the beginning. There's no way that you could end up starting all over at the beginning again. Even if you were offered a clean slate, if you still followed the same thing, the same goals, the same ambitions with this clean slate, you still have all of the knowledge from your previous experiences. So a lot of times what could be hard if I'm talking to a business person, this could be in the family as well, is when we're trying to move ahead with the ideas that we have, the goals that we have, we sometimes concrete these goals, these ideas with only certain outcomes or certain ways to reach it. And a lot of times is when we reach the peak of one way, sometimes we need to grind a different way to get past and to go on another part that's fulfilling, that's going to be teaching us, that's full of these tests and trials. And technology, human behavior, food are just a few things that are always evolving. The way we advertise to the customer 30 years ago heavily has changed to the way we advertise to our customers now. Keep that in mind. It could be very scary to bring on new things, new concepts, new ideas, or even to be bombarded with new concept, new ideas when we've had something that's been working for us for so long. But here it's a part of the destiny, it's a part of growing, it's a part of you getting your success. Is being able to be flexible, is you being able to be adaptable. But Also realizing just because you change up the playbook, it doesn't mean that you've changed up the whole game. So you still have stuff here. You still have a key to your destiny here. But again, we have to be okay. We have to search these emotions. We have to start feeling protected and being able to evolve. Being able to bring in a flexibility for the flow of divine timing of things in our life. So let's go ahead and get started with this introduction, Aries. What is it that needs to come out? What we talk about? Where do we go? For some reason you want to run to the opposite direction. Why do you want to run to the opposite direction? Oh man, it wants to be done in like a Page of Wands, Knight of Swords in reverse type of energy. What I'm hearing is there's a lot of denial of something. It's almost like I get the image of somebody who wants to just dig their hole and stay stuck there. No matter what extremes happen, no matter if it's more beneficial for them to move, they kind of want to stick to it. And I feel like there's a big stubbornness here. What it is it could be having you very flighty. It could be having you on defense. You could be taking things to where you're reacting to people when they're talking about change, when they're talking about doing something different. You could be reacting to it in a negative way with the bad side of the ego. And I talk about this with the new moon, full moon interpretation in Gemini and in Sagittarius. New moon Gemini, full moon in Sagittarius this time around. Sagittarius describes about how we need to learn our truths, our authentic truths. Gemini talks about our communication with ourselves and with others, and then how we think about things, how we reflect upon things, how we reflect things upon us. But right here, with the ego, the challenge here for you is the escapism. Trying to escape from it. Trying to prove a point as you're escaping. It's almost like a fire tornado rolling out of all of this. Maybe you don't feel like other people value what you've been working on. Now we have the Two of Wands in reverse. Page of Wands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands here. You don't know which way to look at this. You don't know how to look at it. You don't even know how to... What I'm getting is even how to interpret how people are looking at you with this whole situation. Ooh, Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords. I don't know. Do you feel like there's more bad days than good days when it comes to the dealings with others? It has to do a lot with others. Part of this crowd. Maybe in some sense you could feel a little humiliated. Almost like people are poking fun at you in a sense, or they're poking fun at your ideas, or they're poking fun at what has been established. That's what I get with the Ten of Coins. It definitely makes things feel not stable for you. Here comes a Knight of Wands, Temperance, and what do we have here? Oh, Magician. I was telling you about that vengefulness. That vengefulness, not sure how to balance and not sure how to react again to these others. You have brash behavior. Am I really being brash, or am I just trying to give them another view of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm balancing, how I'm balancing? You know, I was led to do things this way. You know, I followed what I was supposed to, done what I was supposed to. The routine has been working, but somehow it's not working now. Now we either have you being the magician in this side position, or we have somebody else being the magician in this side position. Or you feel like they are. You feel like they're creating illusions. You could feel like they're feeding you a big pot of turd stew. Just, you know, they're full of it. That's what I'm getting from that. I don't know, but it has to do with this crowd. It has to do with this other. It could be a workplace environment. It could be a home environment. It's where you frequent. It's public. It's a public space. I'm going to backtrack a little because the Seven of Swords I keep hearing a clarity card on. What is the clarity card for this Seven of Swords? Clarity card for the Seven of Swords. Ooh. So this is a contract here. This is a collaboration. This is working with other people. This does have to do with a more publicly kind of area, whether it's home, whether it's workspace, whether it's somewhere you frequent, a hobby place, something like that. And it has to do with this Ten of Swords now. It's Ten of Swords coming out almost in reverse onto this magician, onto this Page of Wands. There's a lot of blame I get with the Ten of Swords. You don't know what to blame. You don't know who to blame. There's something about feeling incompetent that I keep hearing too. That's something that you're pinning yourself to the wall with. Just because something's moving forward, just because something's evolving, just because things are changing, doesn't mean that what once wasn't important. Think about it. It was the founding. It was the building blocks. It's what got you to this point right now. But you have divine here trying to push you out of your comfort zone so you can evolve. Because most likely, Aries, there's something that you're wishing for. And it has to do with whatever this destiny is. Whatever it is that you've really, been working on. Whatever it was that you started the foundations for here. But the only way you're going to learn this is through these others. Right here with these Three of Pentacles. How you operate with this. Are you going to react and just be brash about things and just head off and just dig your heels into the ground and say, no, it's my way or the highway? Because that could do you a disservice right there, to where you end up catching yourself by your Achilles tendon in a sense. And you're not going to be able to do much because, again, you blocked off yourself from any new things coming in, any new involvement. But you also blocked yourself off from going and seeking new ways of doing things. And what I am given to give as an example is, like, think of somebody who starts off in their career and they do no kind of other training or even other education after they graduated the school for their career. So then you get stuck with that one level, that basic level. And if you choose not to go to workshops, if you choose not to do continuing ed, then your view stays from there. But if you choose to evolve yourself, you choose to get extra training after school, you choose to attend these different workshops that help you evolve, say, your business view, your emotional view, maybe the view into your family, then that's where you start to evolve. That's when you start to change. That's when you start to be more flexible. That's when you start to add more to your book of knowledge. That's when you're able to start understanding your emotions, because you're working on things, you're working on yourself, you're evolving yourself. When we evolve ourselves even in one area of our life, it's kind of like a trickling effect. It starts to affect other areas of our life. So keep that in mind, Aries. All right, give me a second. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. So, let's go ahead and dive into the block here and what's blocking you on this. We're going to ask for the angels of protection. Please help guide us as we navigate, oh man, the block for the Aries frequency. Well, I'm not sure if y'all see that. It's a nice little booklet here. Alright, so that nice booklet lands, amazingly pushes itself under these contracts here, lands right on top of the reasons why you keep pinning yourself to the wall with things. You're seeing things from kind of like one view. That one view again is that original view. The original view that you seen where your success was gonna be. That fair success where you would be really abundant. But this abundance again had to do with what you were planning at the beginning. How you see how the success was supposed to be. And then we have this Empress here. Maybe there was somebody in particular, a partner or somebody that you thought that was going to be here. This person could have been at the start of whatever this was. At the very early beginnings of it as well. Definitely could have been celebrating some stuff at a time. But somehow things changed. Things changed. Things started piling up. Somebody started getting tunnel vision. That's what I get with that one. And the tunnel vision was over this Ten of Cups, their success. It's very interesting for a fire sign. You had a lot of swords come out. Now we're having a lot of cups come out. Remember, we talked about those emotions, and now we're talking, or we were talking a lot about the thoughts too. So it was a lot of emotions in the introduction, a lot of thoughts in the present. Now here we come back and we have this really diligent person here who's like, you know, when I first started out, I did this all with this inner passion, this inner love, you know, of wanting to see this work out. Maybe it wasn't just for myself, but it had to be for somebody else as well. Somebody else that they've known for quite a while, since that person was young or since they were both young. But it was somebody that you thought that you would have your back, somebody that, you know, you did a lot of celebrating with. But somehow things are getting stacked up. Things are getting stacked up. And for some reason, there's like this overly, I want to choose the right word for it. Somehow there's success. There is success, but I feel like there's a push for there to be more. Oh, hold on. I was found in a box. Okay. Thank you for your patience. This kind of just feeds into the energy of the side quests that I am talking about that you could be having to go through. Fun fact for me is my north node is in Aries. Aries is in my second house, and guess whose planet? What planet is in that house? Is the Aries Mars planet as well. So a lot of north node energy. So I really feel like being open to the side quests is what's going to help out, but it's also going to help you be able to be flexible, to be adaptable. Again, you're going to have conversations with other people that could maybe help you see another perspective, see another way, or even see how you go about things. And a lot of times because how you go about things, because of a lot of times we don't see that. We don't see how we do things. We don't see how we operate. We only see when there's a problem. So right here, I mean, you're very smart. You were very smart when you originally started making the moves back in the day. You made these moves from an emotional sound side of yourself of wanting to create something different. But again, things have been stacking up. Not only a little thing with a side quest. I've actually had a few side quests today. In this story alone, I've had 2 side quests. I had the side quest of the little kitten that my daughter found in a box that she just brought home while I was doing this video. But I also went and took the kitten to my neighbor, because my neighbor's daughter loves animals. I was like, hey, we don't usually have a kitten on the property because we're supposed to be an animal-free property. So I was like, let me go let her check out this cat. And I actually ended up talking with the neighbor as well, and they're lied another little side quest. And it was nice because it's always nice to help out your neighbors. It's always nice to create that community feeling of having each other's backs. So be open to the side quest. Even though it feels like things are stacking up on you, you might find certain blessings, certain successes that you've had with these side quests, especially when it comes to how people see you, how people understand you, but how you see yourself and how you understand yourself. Another side quest I did was like first thing this morning for a Scorpio in particular, and I had to meet them up because they didn't have their shoes for work. And I'm like, I can't leave you going to work without your work shoes. I will meet you there. I have shopping to do. It's all cool. And actually the timing of everything worked out better for that little side quest mission, which I was planning to do that tomorrow. So again, keep an open mind to these side quests that come about, Aries. So what else needs to come out for the block? Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups falls onto this King of Swords, these 3 of Pentacles. This is definitely a really big emotional lesson for you. It may be, in a sense, trying to show you some boundaries that you still have to things. Maybe there's a specific reason why you don't want to be flexible. Maybe there's a specific reason why you want everything to stay the same. Something that you're really focused on. Something that was tied to these foundations. In life, when we start new things, we make promises, it's usually based off of something else. Something maybe we don't want to repeat again. Maybe it's tied to somebody in particular. It could be the memory of somebody. what I get is, whatever it is, there's a really strong emotional reason why you feel like you shouldn't be flexible, why it needs to stay this way. And it could be having to do with the influence of somebody else, especially in your past. Somebody that you hung out with quite a bit, somebody that you thought was going to be there for a longer time than what they were. Maybe somebody who had your back, maybe somebody who had watched over you. And maybe that fear of change is, maybe you feel like you're gonna forget something, or you're gonna forget them maybe. Look at that. We have the Aries card right here, the Emperor, fall out. The Emperor, somebody who has stuff taken care of. The Emperor, when it's a good Emperor, they're going to jump in. They're going to be a part of things. They're going to want to know what's going on. But then when the Emperor is not a very good Emperor, they can be neglective, or they could be over-focusing, micromanaging. And what I see is, I see things leaning towards the micromanaging, not making room, not wanting to make room for these new things. And it could be, again, wanting to keep things the same for a particular reason, in memory of somebody. But the whole thing is say you have a mausoleum for somebody, and it was beautiful. It's very beautiful. But throughout time, throughout the decades, this mausoleum is falling apart. This mausoleum is starting to rust in certain parts. This mausoleum is crumbling in other areas. Would you keep it the same? Would you let it degrade? Or would you make updates to it? Would you invest in it? Would you invest in nicer things for it? Or again, would you keep it all the same? We have these choices here, and I feel like this is a choice right here. Whatever this is, it has like a memory tied to it. And you have the choice to keep it all the same. But when your empire, when things are starting to crumble because it's outdated, can you see that it's okay to give yourself permission to update it? Just because you're moving forward, just because you're changing things around, doesn't mean that you've forgotten the original idea or inspiration where it came from. A lot of times when we change up things, we could feel fake for changing up things because we're not sticking to the original thing. You have people who will walk around saying that I will never change. Well, if you never change, that means you never grow, you never learn, you never evolve. But right here, you have an opportunity to evolve, to bring something more. And you have the divine right behind you, trying to push you out of this comfort zone. That's what this is. You're meant to be here. This contract, just because you change things up, doesn't mean this contract was any less important with who you were working with at one time, or who was around you. Could have been teaching you, could have been helping you out. It's okay. It's okay to adapt. It's okay to bring in new. For all you know, there's something else special that you can do, that you can tie to whatever you're doing. It could come down to something, in my line of work, it's usually called a signature. The signature of something. That was interesting how that did that. The signature, so through the different places that I work, they always have this signature treatment that represents that company. You know, they have all these other things, you know, and they're always evolving, all the other treatments, such and such, but there's that original, the signature. Maybe there's something here that you can come up with, that you can create, that will make you feel like the original foundations, the original ideas, and the original inspiration is still protected. while allowing things to evolve. Whoo-wee, I was not expecting that. I hope that makes sense. I had to take kind of like a 15-minute break, 20-minute break through these little side quests just now. Oh my goodness, did y'all see that kitty? Of course y'all seen that kitty. I put the little clip of the video of the kitty in here. My daughter said that she found it at the local park in a box. Oh, if we could take it in, I would. I love cat energy. It's a very beautiful energy. All right, so let's continue. Divine and universal energy. What is it that needs to come out for the conclusion for the Aries frequency? Oh, wow. Did you see how it set that down? Now, this falls on the Magician. Now, this is either you matching people eye for eye, or you like feeling like people are bringing on an illusion. The thing is we need to work through fears here. Maybe being honest. What is the exact fear here? What is it that you're holding on to that you're afraid to let go? That's something that you got to get down and be honest and raw with yourself. Why it's so important. A lot of times, if you don't have these tough conversations with yourself, how are you going to communicate how you're feeling with others? A new cycle will begin. And what does this new cycle have to do with? It has to do with having the confidence, getting fixed in things. And this one is believe in the impossible. That one was like that. So you're definitely at odds ends with believing in the impossible. For some reason, this fear really takes away from the confidence. And this new romantic cycle, I feel like you can have really good relationships with the people that you're partnering with, the people that you're collaborating with, the people that you are working with when it ever comes down to this situation, or I should say when it comes down to this situation. Whatever it is that's needing some flexibility and some evolving with the times here. So Libra, 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 all about balance. Scorpio, 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 about transformations. And the Leo, 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 it's all about, you know, really being honest with ourselves inside so that we can put that out there for this world. All right, or put it out there into this world, because what we vibrate on the inside is how we're going to vibrate on the outside. So the answers you need, you don't think, you don't see them, you don't think it's going to happen, but they're coming. They are coming. But you know what? Again, it's breaking down that connection with yourself, between that divine connection and the connection that you have here on this earth. Cleaning up that communication with yourself, but with others. You know, being really honest, being really raw with how you feel. Because, I mean, if we're not honest, we're not raw, then a lot of people can mistaken what we're putting out there for something else. Especially if we're not giving any reason for how we're feeling. If we're just kind of just cutting things off and just saying, no, it's this way. So, a time to give rather than take. It's time to clean up the empire a little bit. It's time for you to do some shop cleaning. What I feel specifically is when the shops close down, when the business isn't running during its business hours, that is the time for you to sit there and clean things up. When the household is nice and quiet, that is the time for you to sit there and clean things up. Really going through with this Virgo, it's a lot of analytical energy, but it also has Mercury representing this Virgo too. So you have 2 Mercury cards here. This is about how we think and how we communicate. You have it with the Gemini and you have it with the Virgo. So with this here, it comes down to how you're communicating with others, but also how you're communicating with yourself. Being really honest with yourself. And I feel like when you go through your empire, through your kingdom here, and you're cleaning stuff up, you're putting stuff back, you're seeing what's worn down, you're seeing what needs to be changed up, what needs to be replaced, you might come across some kind of understanding of where others are coming from when it comes to changing up, when it comes to being flexible. There may be something that you find, something that you see, something that gets processed in this time with yourself. And here we have another Libra card. A win-win outcome is forecasted. And this is what you're at the most distance with. This is something that you wouldn't bet on it. I would say if you sat here and was told, well, would you bet on this if we did it this way, if we evolved this way, you wouldn't bet on it, because right now you see that the formula has been the same, and this is the formula that has been working. So what that does is that leaves a closing off to anything new coming in, but also for you to explore anything, Aries. You're a cardinal energy. If you don't give yourself room to explore new things, new ideas, then you start to run in a hamster cage. You start to get comfortable with the same old, but you also set yourself a limit. So whatever it is that you're working on, I feel like the divine is saying here is you have not reached the limit yet. And this is why the divine is pushing you to get out of this comfort zone. This is why the divine is bringing this story out for you. It wants you to believe that there is more possible here. All right, so let's go ahead and go with one more card. What is the last card for Aries? We'll go last 3 cards. Oh my goodness. I like this. Right away, I see Aquarius. Aquarius is all about being your authentic self. Aquarius is the house of reform, ideas. It also represents aspirations. It wants you to be open to the ideas, you know, open to how the inspiration of what you had originally can be molded into something else, new ideas, new ways of going. And your commitment is being tested. You wanted to achieve a little bit higher than where you're at. That's what I get with this. You asked for something. You asked for something, and this is the way the divine is responding, because, you know, all good things come to those who are willing to work for it. And then here we are. The energy is gaining momentum. That is your fair warning that the divine is not done with you yet. It's not in a negative way, but again, the divine wants you to get out of your comfort zone. It's going to be turning up the heat on you a little bit more, Aries, to see if this is really what you want, what you've wished for in the future. This dream that you built off of whatever this inspiration was from your past, is if you really meant it. If you really meant what you were putting out there. If you really meant what you were manifesting. Stand tall. Stand tall. Just like you can be stubborn with wanting to keep things the same, you can also be stubborn or get stubborn with yourself when it comes to being able to challenge yourself when you notice that you want to stay stuck, recognizing when you get stuck and recognizing when it's time to challenge yourself type of energy. Look how beautiful it looks all behind me. I love it. So this is going to conclude it, Aries. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your patience. And don't forget to thank your angels, ancestors, and spirit guides for coming in and helping out with all these positive messages. And don't forget to thank divine and universal energy as well. And I hope that you have a most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.